Today on Grey's Anatomy, we talk about Ben Warren. Damn.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. We are doing the Grey's Anatomy After Show.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, so much. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV, and that is the voice of Tara Johnson.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at TJ Wagging Her Tail.
Oh my goodness.
I'm exhausted.
We had the 2-hour special of Grey's Anatomy. Mentally exhausting.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. It was everywhere. It was great.
It was fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
To the point where we're like, what?
We needed wine.
We so needed
for
wine.
these 2 episodes, right? We needed wine.
We needed 2 bottles of wine.
Yes,
one for each of us.
Yes.
But really quickly, what were your thoughts of this one?
I felt like the writers needed to get the series someplace, so they used these 2 hours to put everything in it. But I thought it was so incredibly good, because all the characters kind of are in another place by the time these 2 hours are over.
Very true. Mm-hmm. And I think they did use this 2-hour time crunch to like really propel stories forward. Because a lot of times we're not like giving crap, but it's like we always call them out. It's like, why are we still dragging the stories along? Just move.
Yes.
And we definitely got that for basically everybody.
Pretty much everybody.
And I like that. That was a good storytelling device for them.
Yeah.
Move the story forward. Craziness ensues.
It was everywhere.
Mentally exhausting. Can't say it enough.
Yeah.
But overall, it was really good. And I'm just trying to rack my brain why they would do a 2-hour special in the middle of the season when it's not the finale.
If you guys let us know. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking it's a scheduling thing, because for all you Scandal people out there, like Scandal was crazy last week.
Man.
Yeah, like crazy last week. So we needed a Scandal break. So they needed to add, needed an hour. I don't know. I think that's what it is.
You guys got exhausted with Scandal. Now you're getting exhausted with Grey's Anatomy.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So lots to talk about.
Yes.
Obviously, Ben was a humongous part of this episode, but we'll get to him.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Let's start with the Owen and Riggs. This is a storyline that's been going on for episodes and episodes. Do we still care?
No.
Nah, I'm losing interest.
I really hope that the conversation between Riggs and Maggie, where Riggs just kind of confesses, but basically says, I don't owe anybody anything, is kind of the wrap up. Like, I really hope, because, we've been going back and forth. Is Riggs telling the truth? Is Owen telling the truth? Even someone last week on YouTube comments was like, why can't they both be telling the truth? And I think I wrote and I said, I think you're right. I think they are both telling the truth. There's 3 sides to every story.
Yeah, and even Riggs himself, I think he was more well aware of that. He said it himself, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I've paid for it ever since. So he's very self-aware of everything he did. He did tell the truth. He admitted a lot of things, which a lot of people not to be punny, but there is a fine line between lying and admitting the truth.
Right.
And I think we got to the point where Riggs realized he's human, he made mistakes, he was wrong. So I think now from the 3 different people that we're learning the story from, like Meredith, Owen, and Riggs, that now we finally have all the pieces together for this puzzle and we can move on.
I think there's one piece that's missing. I think Maggie needs to go back and tell Meredith. And Meredith, is my opinion, is the only person who can sit down with Owen and say, look, dude, this is what it is. None of us are perfect.
Yeah, get over it.
Get over it. But please, let's get over it soon. I don't like this Owen. I don't feel like we're going anywhere.
And he's at the point where, I mean, we'll get to the patients and whatnot, but like even something as simple as an ECMO for a baby who unfortunately passes away.
Right.
And then he's using that as something to get back to Riggs, just to be angry at him.
Just as something else.
You think Riggs' decision to use this ECMO exacerbated this situation? I'm like, come on, Riggs, really get over yourself.
Yeah, it's making Owen to be a person we dislike, and we all love Owen.
Yeah, we love Owen.
And we want to get back to that. So let's do whatever we need to do in the next couple episodes, wrap this up, and keep moving.
Find any string to get mad at Riggs. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Riggs is confessed now. No one's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
That's, sorry.
Done.
Yeah.
All right. April and Jackson. Okay, so we see at the end of last episode, timing wasn't the greatest on April's part.
Right.
Serving a, restraining order, not good.
Right.
But Avery, during all this, okay, so at the beginning of the episode, you see April's like, obviously, man. It's like,
of course.
They can't physically be in the same room, but they're going to have to. They work together. It's a hospital.
Yeah, that was the part about it that, like, I guess putting on my legal hat, that really bothered me, because there was no way that if April had really pulled a restraining order in Jackson, that the two of them would have even possibly ran into each other at a case. Like, it would have had to been addressed. The two of them would never been on shift at the same, like, it would have had to be a major thing.
Yeah, and you could just tell that April wasn't really thinking the whole thing through. She jumped the gun on that decision.
Right. It was, and then it put Jackson in a place he didn't want to be. He never wanted to be in the lawyer's office, definitely not in the lawyer's office with his mother.
Oh. And
the two of them, like, putting a timeline and stuff together. There is no good that can come from that.
No, and of course, and it's even affecting April. She's hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Still hasn't really checked up on her baby, and now it got to that point where now she has to actually go to Arizona and be like, hey,
yes,
I need a little
something's
help.
Wrong. Right.
I think my baby's in danger. We're just like, finally, April, get to that point where just like do a medical checkup on your baby.
An ultrasound.
You are a surgeon. You are a doctor. You know the health risk,
right?
That especially since you have with Samuel, we've been saying it for how many episodes now?
I mean, I know we've gotten comments from people going, "Oh, these tests that April's supposed to take would be dangerous to the baby," but an ultrasound, no, an ultrasound.
Have you ever seen her get an ultrasound yet since this baby?
She said, in the show,
something as simple as an ultrasound.
Right, I've refused ultrasounds. She's just been so scared.
My goodness.
I mean, I love the fact that Jackson was the one who said, "Look, let's just end this," but I think some of it bothers me because it just seems as if April just seems to be really, and I know she's protecting a baby, so I'm put that aside. But April has pulled the selfish card a lot, and Jackson has always been forced to be the bigger person. And I just want her once to go back to Jackson and say, "Look, I'm sorry, I messed up," instead of defending herself.
Yeah, and sometimes being the biggest person and taking the higher ground makes you the most dislikable person in the situation. But unfortunately, someone has to be that person.
Someone has to be that person, and it's except for asking for the divorce. Because Jackson was the one who put his foot down about the divorce.
True.
All the other times, normally, he's like, "Okay, April, okay, fine." The divorce is the only thing he was like, "Sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it."
I know.
He's taken the high road. But I'm happy to know that this, we think, has passed, because it just wasn't going to work. A restraining order?
Yeah.
Between a general surgeon and the head, it just wasn't going to work. And
head of plastics.
There's no way that was going to work. So one episode, good, done. Keep it moving.
Well, do you like how they ended at the end of the second episode, but like they're not on actual speaking terms?
Yeah.
And I loved Karev's, not Karev's, oh my goodness, Jackson's, what he said to April's like, "I don't like who I'm turning into when I, sign these papers and stuff, and like I was your best friend." And that's like, when you get married and whatnot, people are always saying like, "I married my best friend" and whatnot. Like they were at a point where they like truly loved each other.
It really were.
It just breaks our hearts that they're not together anymore.
Yeah, I'm always the person who, whenever I break up with someone, I try my best, even after a little time, to still be friends, because something about that person, whether that person's supposed to be in my life forever, I loved at some point. So it's really horrible when people that you loved at one point, you can't even be in the same room with. It's just a really uncomfortable, nasty thing. So I am happy to see that Jackson and April are on speaking terms. Yeah. Not romantically involved, but at least speaking terms, because that was just going to tear the entire hospital apart. There was just no way. No way.
I know, like, and then I even like how Weber kind of stepped up and be like, "No, I didn't back you up. Right. I'm backed up a patient because you two doctors couldn't get it together."
Yeah.
So it's even affecting the work life.
It was going to. I mean, you had like a really quick consult, and then what are you going to do? General surgeon consult. April's going to go, "Well, is Jackson down there? He can't be within 100 feet," and Jackson's going to go, "Well, April." It just wasn't going to work.
How many times do you have to throw that restraining order in her face? Just like, get it over with.
It's just not going to work.
I like that they kind of end on a civil note.
And we hope it lasts.
Hope so. Because now the baby is kicking.
Yeah.
The baby is healthy as of right now.
Which was exciting.
And it's so exciting because they got past that point where, unfortunately, Samuel was too young to get to that point. And now it's like, that small moment where Jackson feels the baby kicking, it was just like a short moment of hope.
Yeah.
that they can have a second chance.
True. And I think for April, too, the fact that she didn't know what it felt like for a baby to kick was sad on one hand, but also really exciting. I was really happy for that character. At the same time, like, you're experiencing something in your pregnancy that you didn't get a chance to experience before. We're going to get a chance to go further than we did last time. At least that's the hope that we're thinking.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully, and I think it also gave the audience just a hope for them.
I want them to be civil. I will say it. I do not want them to get back together. I just want them to be civil.
Okay. I'll take civil for now.
I'll take civil.
I would love for them to be endgame. I want to say they are. But
I know.
So much has happened between those two.
So much.
And I really don't know. But civil, I will take civil for now.
Civil is good.
Civil is good. It's better than nothing.
The last time they were civil to each other, that's how they got pregnant. Civil is good. Hey, man.
Very, very true.
Civil's good.
All right, so let's get to another civil relationship. Yes. Penny and Callie.
Let's say Penny, Callie, and who I think Callie keeps...
Arizona slightly. Yes. By extension.
I think Callie keeps forgetting Arizona. This was really out of the blue for me because I had, even watching the first hour of this 2-hour episode, I was packing Penny's bags. I was waving goodbye.
I know, we both were.
Right? I was like, oh, we're like, Penny. All right. Oh.
And we said in last week's episode, was like, hey, this is the perfect excuse to write Penny off the show.
Write Penny off the show. I had no idea.
I didn't want Callie to be written off the show and leave.
I don't want Callie to be written off the show either, but when I thought about it...
I don't think she is leaving.
I don't think she is.
No.
But what have they really done with her character? Like, this is a perfect way to give her something. Her character's really just kind of been lingering around, not doing a whole lot this season since she and Arizona got divorced. Like, she's just been there, and she'll do a couple of zingers here, right. Great operations here and there, but as far as having a really meaty storyline...
There's nothing.
Yeah, even...
Do you think that's the character or just the situations... that
the writing with so many people?
Do you think Penny herself is a strong enough character to just be, I don't want to say awesome, but just like a strong enough character to stand on her own within the hospital amongst everyone else?
No. I don't think they've given her anything to do that. Except for the Derek thing. I think they're trying with the Callie thing to keep her around, but now maybe we're realizing that the only reason they made her involved with Callie is to bring this whole Callie Arizona story around. I don't think her character. No, I still see Penny leaving.
It's a terrible device to just drum up more drama between Arizona and Callie.
Who are probably, like I think we were saying last week, the best divorced couple we'd ever seen.
As of right now, yeah. Because like even at the beginning of the first episode, I was like, I love how Arizona and Callie are so civil, and even Arizona's giving Callie advice on their relationship. Like they're in a great place of understanding. They're happy.
Yeah, she ran. She like
totally
walked
friends,
in on
BFFs. You know, like nothing was wrong between those two.
She walked in on them, and when Penny and Callie were going at it, and she was
Arizona was like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah, like I thought it was a great place, which also was a reason why I was so surprised that Callie got caught up.
She's really good on Grace.
Yeah.
To twist that on you.
Really
be like,
is.
Oh, you think they're happy? Nope, we're going to throw a wrench in that too.
I never saw that coming. Because of the fact that where Callie and Arizona have gone together. Mm-hmm. Remember when Callie first found out she was pregnant and it was Mark's baby? Like the whole thing. They've always been in this whole, having Sophia was always the two of them together. Well, at first it was the three of them,
Yeah.
And then it was the two of them together. For this to happen... And Callie just to kind of casually go, oh, you can come see Sophia whenever you want to. What would make you think Arizona would go for that?
Yeah, but like, what would make Callie think that she has the right to take their daughter, who they have custody, they both have equal custody over Sophia, to a whole nother state and uproot her life? Because even Callie and Penny was like, you can't leave Seattle. You have roots here.
Yes.
And Callie was like, I could find a job there.
Right.
There's no problem.
And I know there's always a timing thing on Grey's Anatomy, so we're not really sure. They do a lot of time warps, but has it been 2 years supposedly now since Derek passed away? Have Callie and Penny been together those 2 years?
I was going to ask you, I was like, do you think the relationship is strong enough, or like at that place where Callie can uproot her life for a woman?
I don't know. Because even when Arizona said...
Keep forgetting 2 years have passed. It's like, shoot.
It's supposed to be 2 years, right? Some people have, but she admitted when Arizona asked her, she was like, I don't think our relationship can take long distance. So even if it has been 2 years or 2+ years... she doesn't feel it's strong enough to do long distance. Long distance is hard, but she doesn't feel it's 2 years in, even for a year. That's something strange with that to me. Something strange.
True. Okay. Were you surprised that Penny didn't immediately ask Callie to go to New York with her?
No. No, because I don't think this relationship is real.
It's strong enough. I don't think it's strong enough.
It doesn't feel like a real relationship. Again, like, we've seen them so off and on, and it could be just the writing. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, they've been together a couple of weeks. Like, it just doesn't seem like that type of strong union to go, we're going to move to New York together and we're going to take Callie's daughter.
Yeah. But they're at a place where they love each other, apparently.
It's taken 2 years for them to both say they love each other.
Apparently.
See, that's why it's a little strange. That's why it's a little strange.
And it's so hard because, you know, we realize this is a television show. Us audience in real time have only gotten a few weeks.
Right.
To kind of love this relationship. I don't want to say that loosely, but, like, have the ability if we decide if we like to watch this relationship or not. And I don't think it's still enough.
No, my vote is, I don't want to say no like I say against Jackson and April. I'll just simply say it doesn't seem real. Like, I don't, they haven't gone through what other relationships in the show have gone through. So it really feels real.
I agree. So maybe we'll save that predictions.
All right.
But let's get to the meat and potatoes of this.
Exhausting.
Both these episodes.
Exhausting.
Ben Warren. Ooh. Where to even begin?
I don't know. I don't even know.
I liked how the first episode, we got this non-linear mystery kind of storyline going on, which I think is, just very smart, and that engages the audience even more to figure out what the heck happened.
Right.
I do love non-linear storytelling because it's always more fun to watch, I think.
Yeah.
So we actually start the episode more so. To start the first episode, Pink.
Code Pink.
Little child missing. And I liked how that was kind of like actually quickly wrapped up.
Yes.
Because that was just the starting point. That wasn't even the actual problem.
Right. And they threw us with last week's
with the editing.
Yeah, because I was like,
promos.
I'm like, oh, this is going to be about the missing kid. And so when the missing kid was gone in like 3 minutes, I was like, what happened?
I think it was 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, you're right.
What are we going to do now for the next hour and 58 minutes?
Right. Oh, goodness. But so all the doors lock. They can't, surgeons are stuck in certain areas and whatnot. But this is actually one of the biggest problems that sets up during all this. Ben and DeLuca. Yes. They're with Gretchen McKay.
Yeah, poor Gretchen.
Because this is mostly just the first episode. We kept going, rewinding flashbacks to present time, going back, and we kept just going back like a few scenes and then fast forward. It was like a lot of rewinding.
Yeah, and they would always give us a little bit more information every time we went back, like filled in the gaps just a little bit more.
Just a little bit
just a little bit more.
All right, so I'll try to keep this as linear as I can remember.
Right.
But pretty much Gretchen McKay and her husband Omar and their family, they get in a car accident.
Yeah.
What a cute family, I'll just say that.
They were pretty adorable.
Car accident, and they're not doing too well.
Yeah.
But Gretchen's pregnant and then she has
their fourth kid.
Oh my goodness. But it goes from actually Meredith first, and then it gets passed to Arizona.
Yeah.
For a consult for the baby, and then passes to DeLuca and Warren.
Right, just to take her to OB.
And that's the actual linear order.
Yes.
But the way that they told it went from Ben and DeLuca to Arizona and to Meredith. They're like, what?
Yeah, what's going on?
Shoot. And then we even had Weber in between, try to confirm where everyone was.
Right.
Oh.
It was a big mystery, and it was. The way they told it, I thought was really brilliant because it was Miranda trying to figure out and really get down to every detail what happened because she's chief, but because it was her husband too.
Yeah.
So it was this desperation of, well, why did you give it to Arizona? Well, why did you give it to Mary?
Why weren't you there?
Why didn't you do it? Or why can't you transport them?
People who were actually authorized
right
there.
Yeah. And them not knowing that Ben was so heavily involved in what happened that they didn't even realize her urgency. They were like, what is wrong with you? I mean, a resident, like an attendant can take, like, what are you talking about?
A resident can take a completely stable person up to.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So and that was great storytelling.
And I think that was great because, like, every single time she kept going to the next person, just, like, slowly built up that drama. And I think that's what makes for great storytelling, great editing. Just in, like, that mystery-esque.
Yes, that's how I felt. Feel. It was a mystery being like the onion was being peeled one layer at a time, right. One layer at a time.
To the next, and to the next.
Yes.
But during all that, during the lockdown, so we get Ben and DeLuca. Ben has to do an emergency C-section.
Has to do quotes for anyone who's listening.
With Gretchen McKay.
Yes.
Had quote unquote no other option.
No other option.
Do you believe this?
I believed Ben's great monologue at the end of the second episode, and he was like, when you're a surgeon, there's no one there. But I also believe that that's where he fails, because I think the difference possibly between a great surgeon and a good surgeon is that extra detail of, even though I saw the elevator door open, but I didn't, I think a great surgeon is still focused, but sees everything around.
Yeah.
Do you know
aware
what I mean?
Of their surroundings.
Yeah, aware of their surroundings.
And it was very hard, too, because also during this mystery unveiling where Miranda's finding everything out, because she does go over the security tapes. And we see the elevator door opens, and we also, just us, the audience, actually see Ben look at the elevator doors open, and then he decides to still go with the operation.
Yeah. That footage was so, I mean, hand to mouth. That's where I was. I was like, what? Hand to mouth. That's what happened when she revealed it to him. Because even when she was confronting him with it, he was so sure. He was like, I had no other choice. And she was like, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So what do you think of just Ben's reaction and how he, or just like really just how he behaved during all of this? Because I noticed that he kept saying I had no option. Right. I did this, I did that, I did this. It was he only thought of himself.
That's true.
And even DeLuca was there, right next to him, and he was like, I have to do this, I have to do this. Yeah. It was like, I didn't like how he only thought about himself during all of this. But what did you think?
I thought the same thing. I mean, I think I even wrote down, Ben was very comfortable in this case with this entire family, but almost borderline cocky. Like in the beginning,
it's definitely
very, very cocky. Like in the first episode, when it was he and DeLuca, and he said, "Move, DeLuca, just move. Like I have this, like move, DeLuca," and just
for something as simple as blood pressure, getting that back up.
Yeah, just fine. You could have been like, DeLuca, XYZ. If you have, if you're really trying to help out and not being, I'm trying to shine and that kind of thing, and maybe Warren's trying to prove himself so much because of what happened before. I don't know. But it was very, move DeLuca, like, you don't know, like...
You don't know, I got this.
I got this, And he was great with Gretchen, explaining to her, like, the kids were okay and comforting her and all that.
She wasn't going to lose her baby.
Right. He was fantastic with that.
Oh, the irony.
Then it just became too much. I think if he would have thought less of himself and thought more of the team, the two of them together could have made a better decision. But he really was. And DeLuca fell back. Because as they said, that Gramps is the most level-headed person. He's the most level-headed resident.
If Gramps goes rogue, that's what they said.
Gramps goes rogue. That's it.
It just bothered me because throughout the both of these episodes, Warren didn't back down at all. He was very adamant that he believed he truly did the right thing. And if there was just one or two scenes where he I truly felt remorse, because we even see Miranda's like, do you feel remorseful? Right. He's like, yes, I play it in my head every day, or all the time. I'm like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
There wasn't a moment of true anxiety, or he had a moment where he realized his actions.
Yeah.
He was sitting in Miranda's office, but every time someone went to go talk to him, he was so defensive.
He was very defensive.
And I didn't believe him. I had such a hard time, dude, Warren, sit down and realize the severity of the actions you just performed.
Yeah, and really go through it.
Never had that moment.
Do you remember, seasons. I don't even know what season we're talking about, but Miranda's staph infection, when she was doing a surgery, actually killed someone, and she ran those multiple tests over. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
They had all of those, like, you know,
vignettes, and April was the one who skipped that small detail.
Do you remember when, when she had all those tests that she ran on her skin over and over again, like she was making her skin raw because she ran through every single
yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm thinking completely different episode. When she had the Petri dishes lined up because she ran her OCD.
50, remember, like OCD, right? But that was because she ran through every single detail of the mistake that she made. And everyone told her, I mean, she went through a whole committee and everything, and they found her not to be culpable, not to be liable. But in her mind,
the genomes, right?
Right. She had to go through every single step over and over again to realize where I went wrong, what I could have done better. And that's what I was looking for a little bit with Warren too. And we didn't get it. We didn't get it.
Like Miranda had that moment of true remorse, and Warren didn't.
He didn't.
And why do you think that is? Do you think that's just the writing or the character itself? Like the writing, they didn't purposely give him a moment,
right?
Or that's really just true to his character, that he really wasn't that remorseful. He truly believed he was doing the right thing.
I think he really thought he was doing the right thing, but I think he thought he was doing the right thing through a flawed lens.
Fogged lens.
Yeah,
more so.
I really, because of it hinges upon his actions. 3 or 4 or 5 episodes ago, when he decided to cut the guy open with
that paper,
with the clipboard,
clipboard thing,
with the clipboard. I mean, there is a certain level of, and this has been building up, right? There's been a certain level of a feeling that we've been developing or realizing in Ben that's been occurring of, I was a doctor. I was an esthetician. I used to be not an esthetician. I was an anesthesiologist. I used to be in the OR. I was respected. I was a doctor. I was the person everyone wanted to work with. And now I'm back being a resident, and I supposedly can't do anything. Give me a break. Mm-hmm. And I'm the chief's husband. Like, we've been seeing it building over and over again.
So do you think that's just a power play on himself? That he feels like he's, and I don't want to say emasculated, but like he's so far down on the totem pole, and he doesn't like that.
I think it's hard. I think it must be hard. I mean, it would almost be, I mean, I practiced law now for I don't know how long. I can't even remember. Don't even think about it. But to go back and be a first-year law student with the knowledge that I have.
It's a blow to the ego, right?
It's a blow to the ego, but it's really hard because if I had to sit in a first-year law class and listen to a professor who may or may not ever have practiced before try to tell me, what really happens when you go out there and practice law, I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I think it's just a hard reversal. And the fact that Miranda is now chief, I think and I'm not going to say it's because he's a man. I think it's just a difficult place to be.
Yeah, it's definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I think it's also his character. He might have just authority issues.
Maybe because before he used to be the authority.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now that the fact that people are the one putting him in his place, he doesn't like that because he's so defensive. Yeah. And he's so adamant against people when they actually bring him, like when they set him straight, and he doesn't like it.
And I will say, as far as being a resident, maybe it's the writing or whatever, but we see Stephanie and Joe being the rock star residents. They fight for that back and forth. I mean, even in this episode, the first episode, Stephanie was like, we run this place, right? Mm-hmm. So even if Warren is a great resident, he's not superstar status. Like, he's not getting the gold star every day. We don't see that.
Well, he's the rogue resident.
He's the rogue resident.
More so.
So not only is he not getting the respect he got before, he's the rogue.
Like, no one's really thinking of him.
And got suspended for 3 days before.
Yeah, which that was even being nice on Miranda's part. But, okay, so unfortunately, Gretchen McKay passes. Right. So does the baby.
That was so hard.
All that valiant effort.
That was so hard.
You lose both of them.
To make that decision to lose both of them.
And to do such a reckless operation, then to lose both of them. All I'm thinking is like malpractice suits or like anything for Warren. I was like, dude, Warren. Yeah. I think really literally dug yourself in a hole.
This one was really hard because to lose the mom, but then when they had the scene where they showed the baby being wrapped after the baby passed.
The white sheet.
It was, was like, Grace, you're killing me. I don't know what to do.
Oh, we got so emotional in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, we both just looked at each other. We're like, oh my God, are they really doing this to us right now?
Are they really going to do this?
Yes, that white sheet was terrible.
It was a lot.
It was just literally a visual symbolism, like something so pure just passed away.
Right.
So clean and innocent.
Absolutely.
Did not deserve this for something as reckless as doing an operation.
Right.
In the middle of a hallway.
And the elevator door opened. Because at that time we knew the elevator door did open. So there really was an option.
Yeah.
So that was just, that was a bit much for me.
So what do you think of the daughter realizing when, getting the unfortunate news from Bailey that the mother has passed?
I think I'll be selfish with this moment. I'm sorry, but first of all, I thought she was so mature and so brave, and it showed how much in a second how your life can change, because she went from being the oldest child, the only daughter, to being pretty much like the woman in charge. Mm-hmm. And when she stepped up, she did. When her mom said, "You're in charge," she took that literally, because when she asked Miranda for the money. Well, my brother's tooth came out. The tooth fairy has to come. Like, oh my goodness. In her mind, it was like, I'm the oldest. My brothers still deserve a childhood, even though mom is no longer around. I thought it was so mature. And even when she helped her grandma make the decision about signing the DNR, I was like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? Like, this is an amazing type of thing. But it just shows how life can change, and people, kids, whomever, when you have to step up, you step up.
Step up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, during that moment where, Omar's not looking too good either, and the convincing of the DNR papers, like, I think she just, the daughter just had one of the saddest, most heart-wrenching lines, like, who want to be with mommy. It's like, sign the papers, don't, because she doesn't want her dad to live in bed with his eyes closed, and he would want to be with mommy. Like, are you kidding me right now?
It was really...
I'm like, oh my God,
these two episodes really were a lot. It was a lot.
We were both like crying.
I know.
I was like, oh my God.
I mean, the kid was brilliant.
So good.
So brilliant. It wasn't as if she was trying to play anything old. I think she was like around 10. It wasn't as if she wasn't trying to be... They didn't have her come in and make this like mature 40-year-old speech. It was a powerful 10-year-old kind of speech, but it was direct and everyone got the point. It was brilliant.
It was amazing. It was like a little kid dealing with adult situation.
Yeah. And
pretty much being an adult.
Cutting through all the other stuff and just simply being like, Dad wouldn't want this. And this is why.
He'd want to be with mommy.
Right. Like, and this is why. Yes.
I can't.
Yes.
So much. That was probably like the most emotional part. Because, even like the first one, there was like a lot of tension and anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I feel the second one was like the downfall of all that. Yeah. And like all of us, it's like it's hitting you emotionally now. And so the second episode, I was just like lost it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So during all this, then Omar's crashing.
Yes.
Blood pressure's going down. Uh-huh. Even though that they have official DNR papers.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Bailey decides to use the crash card on him, even though that they were DNR.
Yes.
What do you think of Bailey during this moment? Of course, because we know we've been seeing Bailey and Warren, going at it back and forth between, like, you weren't rational, but
right.
X, Y, and Z with the whole McKay. But what do you think of Bailey now doing something against orders? Trying to save this patient.
I think Amelia, and everyone knows I'm not an Amelia fan, but her statement to Bailey, to me, was so spot on. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't make this family suffer, so Warren won't. Like, to me, that was what it was completely about. And I also think that Bailey is a little, her memory's a little short. Do we remember when Bailey, against rules, injected the kid in the bubble with wasn't it the HIV vaccine without his parents' consent? Do you remember that?
Oh my goodness, you were going way back for that.
Remember that, she's done something like that before too. Done something against orders. The only difference is, it worked out both times in her defense.
It did, but you got to remember, this is the exact same episode where she's chastising her husband and resident about doing something wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
Medically wrong.
That's what I'm.
And then she does something medically wrong.
Absolutely right.
Granted, they are completely drastic different situations.
Completely.
But it's the principle.
Yes.
Going against something.
Yes.
That you shouldn't be doing.
I was like, oh, Bailey, we surely forget. This is like the second time that you've done something like this. But the great thing, I mean, but her luck, if you want to call it, is the fact that it worked out both times.
It did.
Ben's didn't. Ben's did the first time, did not the second time.
Ben lost both patients, and Miranda saved one.
That's it. I was like, oh, this is I mean, these two are they work, this is great. Like, they are two peas in a pod because they will take these necessary steps. It just worked out for Bailey. Didn't work out for Ben. But he got none of that sympathy. Not to say he should. He got none of that from her.
But unfortunately, like, Bailey's in a better position to do something like that.
True.
Ben isn't.
True. 100%. 100% agree with that.
Yeah. But I did think you did bring up Amelia. Amelia was fantastic.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Everything she said is like nail on the head.
Yeah, no, it was. I couldn't deny it. And even I would give Stephanie kudos, because how difficult must it be to have the chief of surgery break a DNR and she's like, hands off, I'm not touching it, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. You know, chief, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, she never jumped in regardless of what Miranda said. She's like, I'm not being involved. I know what I am supposed to do and not supposed to do.
Yep.
I won't get involved in this.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot.
But Omar survives.
Isn't that crazy?
He has pretty much a miraculous recovery.
That was amazing, and didn't see that coming either.
No,
but I don't think I could have taken a third death.
Reoriented? No, me neither. If you had three,
I couldn't have taken.
You need to drink some more of that juju.
Yeah, I couldn't. That would have been way too much.
Oh my goodness. So fortunately, Omar survives.
Yes.
But then, now that not all three patients have died, only one did survive, do you think that kind of would relieve Warren a little bit?
No. No, because I thought about that too, because of the three that were involved in the accident, Gretchen, the baby.
Yeah, Omar wasn't really a part of Warren.
He didn't have anything to do with that. The great thing about the dad surviving was the fact that these three kids are not orphans.
Orphans anymore.
That was the great part. That's the only great part.
And that was also just frustrating too. And I think that's why also this was just a mentally exhausting episode.
Yeah.
Was that because you see Warren being like all of his arguments for what he did, but then that kind of bleeds into Bailey and Warren's personal life, like church and state.
How could it not?
But to the point where, like, even picking up Tucker or like waking up Tucker, and when you bring your own personal children in, and Miranda's like, I'm gonna make sure that, or like these kids are now orphans.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of you, but really because of you.
Right. No.
That was really that was so hard to watch.
Yeah.
When it came to actual personal family.
But I think it's a realistic thing. When you're in a relationship, I think a couple of the things that are most important in a relationship, I mean, I think one is trust. Like, hands down, to be in a relationship where you don't trust someone is really hard. But when you also have someone, I don't mean like make a mistake, but so drastically disappoint you, you know, you look at the person. I'm not saying it's right, you know, but it affects you. It affects the way you think of the person completely. And that's what this episode was showing. Like, she tried to just think of him as Dr. Warren, but she couldn't.
She can't split those two.
You can't split those two. Like, he's your husband. He's who you're sharing a life with. And this was such a huge disappointment and such a huge misjudgment that it's kind of like, right or wrong, it bleeds over.
Yeah. Yeah, because we even got the advisory panel with Owen, Riggs, Grey, Pierce, and Owen.
Yeah.
And, I liked how, because we see Miranda, she's already torn up about it. She gives the responsibility to this, which is good. When you have your fellow attendees actually, always get, like, a second opinion.
I don't think there was any other way for her to do it. When Weber was jumping in her case about that, I was like, this is the smartest decision I think she could make to deal with this.
But yeah, and then even just going over all the details once we learned, and at the end of it, getting a 6-month suspension, which is actually very doable. Because even like watching this, I just kept thinking he would probably get suspended for 6 months, and sure enough, he was.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a good enough punishment for Warren?
I think it's a punishment. I
for
put it
him
this
to
way.
learn his actions.
I think it's a punishment for Dr. Warren, and he will have to work really hard to catch up. I think it might be too severe for Miranda's husband. That's what I'm afraid of.
I agree.
Because I don't know how you separate the two.
Even Miranda was like, it's gonna take me more than 6 months to get over this.
Like, so it's not just his career he has to like figure out what is he gonna do for 6 months? Like every day she's gonna have to come home because he's suspended.
He's not working.
Yes. 6 months not doing surgery, 6 months suspension from the residency program. What is he gonna do for 6 months?
Can't be at the hospital.
Right.
And he's gonna end up resenting Bailey.
And she's gonna come home every day.
Resenting her and him.
She's gonna resent him. Like, what are you going to do for those? I mean, I could just imagine going home day one. Day one turns into day 9. It's like 90. Like, what do you do every day?
6 months is such a long time.
It's such a long time. Resentment just builds up and builds up. So if you really could do the church and state, which I really wish that you could, for state, yes, 6 months, you got to deal with it. He's going to have to work his butt off to get caught up. But is it impossible? Not if he really wants it. Mr. and Mrs., I don't know.
The relationship strong enough to withstand this?
I don't know. And this is what I think I said maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago I did not want to happen. Because I felt nothing like this. But I felt something like this coming. And I was like, this is the one couple I don't know. I don't know if they're surviving. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It's very, very confusing. Or it's just, I shouldn't say confusing. It's just, I'm now torn because I was rooting so much for this couple. Mm-hmm. But if they split up, I'd be like, yeah, I could completely believe them splitting up too.
It's, again, I know it's a horrible thing to say, but this couple needed a storyline. You know what I mean? We don't want to throw drama on great couples, right? Like, but this couple needed a storyline. This is really severe and drastic.
And I don't know. I think it's also just the added element of you have a chief authority to someone, I don't want to say as lowly, but like someone on the completely different end of the superiority totem pole there.
Right.
And I think even that dramatic element causes more tension than what's already there.
I think the 6 months completely hurt Warren and almost destroyed him, but what really killed him and really did him in was when she said, I wanted to fire you, they talked me down. That was,
do you believe that? Because I believed it
100%.
I would have totally fired his ass, but I'm not chief.
I thought he was fired.
I thought he was getting fired. Straight up thought he was getting fired.
And I think maybe being fired might have been easier because he would have been fired. Either he could have done something else. He could have completely gone to another residency program, but 6 months suspension kind of puts you in limbo. I don't know. I'm a praying woman, so I'm praying for Miranda and Warren. That's all. It's a difficult situation. I can't knock what she did, though. I can't knock what she did. I mean, I think
neither can I. And I think Bailey, she did everything she possibly could have.
Yes.
She even passed it off to someone else to have also irrational thought.
Yes.
On going about this judgment call that she ultimately had to make at the end.
Yes.
And I think being a chief, she did everything that was absolutely correct.
I think she did. And she even tried. She even broke rules to try to make either herself feel better or the situation better. She even took it too far, but yeah, I think she did what she had to do.
All right.
Man, damn.
No, seriously. But seriously, Warren.
Yeah.
Damn. That's all you can say.
That's all you can say.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, anything else about this episode, both of these episodes, that we may have missed, that you loved?
I think no.
There was some levities here and there between the first half of the second episode, it felt kind of light.
Yes,
Like,
and I think
that was like just a good breather.
Yeah, we needed
for the intensity that was the first episode.
That first episode was heavy.
Heavy. This is heavy. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's get to it. Predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
A lot.
Oh.
All right. So first of all, let's see that preview.
Right.
Oh, okay. Trying to exactly remember.
Yeah, the preview. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think happens with? Would we have like gun control violence?
Yeah. Yes.
With kids. And then I think that's even just more scary. First of all, you cannot have a gun in hospital.
Right. No.
And then you involve kids in that.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be Alex and Joe. We haven't seen them in a while, but it's going to bring them back. And remember, Alex had such a violent upbringing in childhood that guns in the home are really, difficult for him.
Yeah. Okay. So that's next week's episode. That's a whole nother crazy story that we have yet to get to. Do you think the Owen and Riggs storyline is over?
Please
let it be.
Please let it be. I don't know anything else they can do but kind of like get into a mud bath and just hash it out. But like, I just don't know what else we can do. Like, it's time to move on.
I know. I'm over it. Do we think Callie will move to New York now that Arizona is now after official custody?
I think, unfortunately, that is going to get really bad. Do you remember when like they were breaking up and they were going to counseling and that kind of thing? That was very emotional.
Yeah.
We've never seen them get nasty, and I think we're going to see them get
we've seen them get nasty.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We've seen them get nasty.
I don't want them to go nasty again, but...
I don't want that either.
But she's going to drop this bomb on her, as I think she should, or at least should bring it up or something.
I agree. I think the bomb will definitely be dropped to the point where Callie's going to reconsider her relationship with Penny.
Yes.
And I think that's when Callie's going to need this moment where, like, well, do I really love Penny?
Right.
Does she mean that much to me that I'm going to uproot my life to New York? I don't think so.
I think Callie may even pull the Arizona, how dare you? You and I are friends.
I like
that.
Are
you still in love with me kind of thing.
I like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Penny's gone. Bye, Felicia. All right. And then, Ben, do you think lawsuits will be in order for him? I hate to think that's like an ultimate thing. You do something wrong, you're gonna get a lawsuit.
Yeah.
But this was severe to the point
really
where you
severe. I don't. You know what? But I think that would be bringing too much into it. I see more Miranda and Ben at home in counseling kind of thing.
Yeah.
And maybe there's more to their relationship that we haven't seen. I think that's where that's gonna go more than lawsuits and that type of thing, because I mean, we've hashed out every detail of this by now. There's I don't really know what else a lawsuit could possibly, really do.
Ben, maybe he just stops. I don't want to say stop medicine in general, but just stop being a resident. You still have a medical degree for being an anesthesiologist.
That's true. Well, it's going to be interesting.
But would people let him practice medicine again? That's the real question.
I mean, he's only been suspended. He hasn't been brought up on any sanctions or anything. So his medical license. So
All right, then. Lots to happen.
If we missed something, of course, you guys let us know.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Yes.
Rating, commenting, subscribing, and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
Where can everyone keep following you?
You can find me Twitter and Instagram, TJ Wagging Her Tail, and wordswinewomen.com.
Yes, wine.
Yes.
You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Let us know what you thought of both of these episodes.
Yeah.
Were you as emotionally wrecked as we were?
Oh.
Are you as frustrated with Ben as we are? Let us know.
What wine did you drink?
Let us know. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.